Welcome everybody back to my channel. My name is Leslie. I'm so happy that you guys are here. I'm so excited that y'all are joining me, that you all are taking this adventure with me in true crime astrology to hear about murder cases and astrology at the same time. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I am so into it, but here I am. And so before I get started, I wanted to thank everybody. Thank you so much for subscribing, for your views, for commenting, for liking. I just appreciate you guys so much. And if I could just send you guys all my love, that's what I want to do right now. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. So today on this episode of True Crime Astrology, we are going to talk about the famous Nichole Kessinger. That's right. I said her name. I don't know. She might still come after me. Whatever. She changed her name anyway. As I stated in a previous video, I'm not too fond of her, as a lot of us aren't. And so if you guys are a NK fan, don't proceed. Do not proceed. Exit now, because this isn't for her. We are advocating for Shanann and the babies that were unjustly murdered and taken out of this world. And I am not going to participate in protecting an individual who participated in something like this. So that's my stance. So, okay, let's get started. So as you guys all know, Nichole Kessinger is a Cancer. She's a Cancer sun and an Aquarius moon. And my bet is that she is also a Gemini rising or a Virgo rising or something like that. A Mercury rising types, just a Mercury rising. So, I wanted to talk about Moon in Aquarius. So, do you guys want to know how to know that you're talking to a person that has probably their Moon in Aquarius? Ask them to tell you a story and just see where the story takes you, because a Moon in Aquarius is they're a breed of their own, right? They are not like every other moon sign. They are a breed of their own. If you ask them what happened, they're going to be like, well, this and this and this and this. And yeah, Nichole, they have the ability to take you on a ride that is just going to take you ever which way, and you're not even sure where you're going. You're not even sure what you asked anymore. You're like, well, what did I even ask this person that now we're learning all these other details that and that's their ability, right? And that's not intentional, right? When it comes to the Aquarian moon, people with Aquarius moon, they just have elaborate stories and they can just take you for a ride. Every story they tell is going to be an adventure. They're going to tell you every minute detail of what happened and what they were doing, what they were thinking, what was going on around them as it happened, and everything else in between. So I want to talk about Nichole Kessinger's first interview with the detectives. So the detectives, she calls them, right? She calls them and she's thinking that she's this, oh my God, I'm the center of the investigation. And yeah, she was. And it was very helpful that she came forward. But, she had already been outed, so she didn't know that. But anyways, I get so angry. With her because I don't get it, because none of the investigators that were interviewing her seemed to like really be investigating her. They were just taking her word for it. And, you know, I don't know what came of it, but it really bothers me. So on her first interview that she did when they were at the park, she calls the detectives, right? And she calls and they come and they meet, and they don't have video. If they do, they haven't released it, which I hope they do. And they just haven't released it because maybe they're still looking into it. Fingers crossed. I wouldn't hold my breath. No, don't hold your breath. You might not come back. Okay, so she goes to the park. She brings her dog. She brings her dad. Her dad. When I first heard the interview with her dad, I thought he was like part of the investigation. I was like, oh, okay, that's like the lead investigator. I didn't know anything. This was when I first heard it, right? Like 2-3 years ago when it first happened. And I didn't know who that man was. He's like, you're leading. I was like, oh, okay, like he's leading. And it's like, dude, you're just the dad. Why was that man even allowed to talk during this investigation? Because let me tell you guys something. When you're being interrogated and investigated, or like you're the center of an investigation, usually there's no one else allowed to speak except you. All the questions are directed at the person who's the center of the investigation, and that's the way it should be, and that's the way it should stay. I don't know why that man had so much lead in it. He seemed like, I don't know, like he had buddies on the inside. And that's just my own personal opinion, because I truly believe that. I'm like, why did he have so much leverage over them? Like, why did she got away with so much? And she seemed like she was being like really protected by the second interview. In the first interview, she was not that, like, she was like she was a lot more open. And that's the one interview that like there's no video to it, at least that's been released, and there's no like soundproof audio, you know what I mean? Like there's like a motorcycle that goes by, there's like a dog, she's distracted, they're in a park. Like, why would, like, the center of the investigation, why would you do the investigation in the park? Like, what was the point of that? We can't hear anything. We don't know what she said. And you're not, like, they were being extremely nice to her. Dude, if I was the center of an investigation like that, I guarantee you, they would not be so kind to me. And knock on wood, right? You don't want anything ever that bad to happen to anyone close to you. So, anyways, let's move on. So she keeps self-soothing with the dog, right? She keeps self-soothing, and she's like distracted by the dog. And that's very much her Cancer sun. Like, her Cancerian sun is just like trying to like remain like vulnerable, likable, nurturable, and just like being forthcoming and everything. But her Aquarian moon is like just talking off a storm and not really giving that much information, because that's what they do. They can, not every Aquarian moon is deceptive, but like they can like weave a story that is just, and I'm talking about Nichole Kessinger, okay? They can weave a story and just make you lose yourself when you're trying to understand, because they're like weaving it ever which way, and you don't even know what the hell you asked in the first place. Anyways, So her Lilith is in Virgo. So this has a lot to do with it as well, because her Lilith in Virgo is like very, Lilith is all about like the dark side that you don't want to show to anybody. Like that is like your shadow self. Like everything that you dislike in yourself, that is your sign. And so hers is Virgo. So maybe she doesn't feel like she's as virtuous, which of course, But anyways, and virginal and like clean and she just wants everything to be like in order, and it's not. And so that is Lilith and Virgo. And so with her Aquarian moon and Cancer sun and Lilith and Virgo, like she was really trying to clean up this mess. She was like, no, you guys aren't seeing what's actually here. Look, there's this whole story. Look, no, we were actually talking about calories. We were looking at his app. I was trying to help him find an apartment. Like I was actually trying to advocate for him and Shanann to get back together and stay together. Are you kidding me? And they bought it. I've never seen anybody, like another investigation, just be like, oh, okay. Yeah, totally. You guys, I just, you know what? The more that I go into this case, I'm just like, no wonder it feels like it's not over, right? It feels like that because it feels empty. It's like, well, we should have justice, right? But there's someone else out there that got away with a lot. And by her second interview, you guys can notice that she is very comfortable now with the detectives and not really being that, like, she is talking the whole time. But is she making sense? No. Is she getting to the point? No. Does she get distracted? Yes. It's like, okay, what are you really trying to say here? Like, she says nothing. Even when she calls back the detectives to like tell them, oh, I remembered something, she goes into something else and then forgets what she was trying to tell them in the first place. And then they're just like, oh, okay. Oh gosh. I just, you know what? Aquarian moons are very, they can like, get you lost in their stories because they will tell you every detail. But, she is special. She is truly special because she just, she made everyone get lost. Maybe like, they were like, oh God, we don't want to get her to talk because, I don't know. I can't say what they thought. Okay, so her Venus was in Gemini. Okay. So her Venus in Gemini is kind of interesting because, like, I mean, of course, a Cancer sun is always going to be wanting to have a family and to be at home and to, be a wife and a mother and nurturing and loving and cooking food and all that. When the Venus is in Gemini and you have a Cancer sun, it's kind of like contradicting itself. And so the Gemini Venus in her sign, in her chart, kind of made her more like she could forget easily about the last person and just move on to the next. And that's generally a Venus Gemini. And so even when like she was involved with Chris, she was like, when Chris was the main one, right? He was sandwiched in with the ex-boyfriend Sean, and then Jim, the guy that was at her apartment the day of the murders. And so that's interesting. Like, it's like she's just, yeah. So and no hate to her on that. Like, whatever, like, do your thing, but don't lure a man to like get, oh my God. Like, I feel like Chris was just so not all there. Like, he really got lured in to be like, oh, yeah, this is a really good idea. Let's remove your family. And I think in her mind, I don't know, I can't speak, but speculation, in her mind, she was like, okay, just remove the family and, you know, let's get you a place where I can go visit you by yourself. And yeah, we'll have a room there for the girls and I'll help you look for it. And then he was really put under pressure. He was like, oh no, I really have to like get rid of my family so I can make this happen. Oh Lord. And the outcome, of course. And what did she do? At the end, she was like, oh no, I wasn't really that interested in him. He was more interested in me than I was about him. Venus and Gemini. Like, oh no, we weren't that serious. We weren't that serious. And then this is another thing that was kind of like odd to me that I wanted to bring up was that her memory is very selective. Like they ask her if she's ever been in Shanann's car, and this is interesting, okay? They ask her if she's ever been in Shanann's car, and then she says, yeah, one time. And then they ask her, okay, well, where'd you go? And then she's like, oh, well, I can't really remember. Like, oh, you can't remember, but you remember that you were in there one time? Like, why? Why do you remember that you were in there one time if it wasn't that special? If you weren't going on a date with this man that you supposedly knew just for like 6 weeks, right? That's what she says, that they weren't that serious, that he was more into her than she was into him, and that she was trying to get him to like make up with his family. That is not true. And whoever believes that needs to reevaluate everything, because that is not true. Are you kidding me? Come on. That is so far from the truth. Why did all this happen then? If it wasn't that serious, if it wasn't that important, if he was more into her than she was into him, why did she spend like hours looking up wedding dresses? Cancer's son? Like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, dude. She is very infuriating when it comes to everything that has to do with her. I just wonder why she was so protected, and I wonder why the police listened so much to her dad when her dad was there. Like, they were like, oh yeah, okay, sir. Like, they were giving him so much like power. I don't understand why is that? Like, if my dad went into the police station with me, if I was in trouble, like, would I get the same treatment? Like, I want that, like, please. And I just, you know what, like, even if you're just the center of the investigation, and there's a bunch of pages that have not been released when it comes to Nichole Kessinger, and she changed her name anyway. Okay, you guys, she changed her name. I can say her name freely now, hopefully. Whatever, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, she's infuriating, and she was so jealous of Shanann. So jealous of Shanann. She wouldn't even call her by her name, which I think is like total jealousy. I mean, if you're really that concerned with her well-being and her children and all that, why not say her name? Say her name. Don't give me this. Don't give me this run around like mumbo jumbo. Say her name. I'm going to probably do a part 2 on this because I just have so much more to say. I'm going to do the synastry on Shanann and Chris. And I'm going to throw in Nichole Kessinger in there and see what happens. And we'll look at all their charts together as one in the next episode. Thank you so much for viewing. I love you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I really truly appreciate every subscription that I get. Much love. Much love. Have a good day. Bye-bye.